My name is Ubani from Migo Express Academy. Okay, so in today's episode, we are going to discuss basic concept as what is HTML, basic HTML structure, and in the next subsequent episodes, we're going to touch on the head section of a HTML document, and I will demonstrate a simple real-life HTML document where we get to affect the visuals and the appearance of this HTML page using CSS. So let's jump into today's episode. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It gives structure to a web page or web pages. So HTML is not a programming language, it is a markup language. And HTML5 boilerplate is the basic skeleton of any web page. So every time you build a new page, this is where you start. And I'm going to show you a HTML5 boilerplate. So this is a basic chart that shows the structure of a HTML web page. So you have the doctype HTML that declares the document type HTML5. And then you have the HTML, which is the root element, and the head section, which contains page metadata. So this is where you want to put all of the metadata that will determine how the body would appear, right? So this is the first section that the browser decodes to understand how the body would look like and how certain attributes of the web page will function. Then you have the body section, which contains the visible page content, a live example of a web page built using Notepad++. And my first web page, hello everyone, welcome to Migo Express. Now, if we go to the source of this page, you can see the HTML code here. Now, this is the same code that is written here within my HTML tag. So let's try and affect certain contents within this HTML. And this will be CSS coding, right? So in order to add CSS styling to this web page, the content, I need to assign a class name. And for the p tag, I will give it comment. So let's affect the state of our h1 tag, which we have given the class name header. And the first thing I want to do is to affect the size of the element, which is the h1 element with the class name header. And I want to give it a font size of 30 pixels and give it a font color of blue. For the comment, I want to affect its appearance by giving it a font style italic. So with this line of code, I will affect the state of this web page. And as you can see, our web page header is now blue and the paragraph appears in italic style. As you can see in the real life code, that the HTML boilerplate is the basic skeleton of any web page. So every time you build a new page, this is where you start, and you need the doctype HTML to tell the browsers that this is the HTML boilerplate, and you need the HTML tag, which has the basic structure of a head and body. So what can you do with HTML? You can add headings, just like we did earlier. You can add paragraphs. You can add lists, tables, and links. You can also insert images, videos, forms, create buttons, inputs, and manage page layouts. And to build a really interactive site, you need HTML. That way you can build CSS and JavaScript on top of your HTML. So HTML is like the bones of the web page, and the CSS and JavaScript boost interactivity and visuals. So here's just a graphic to clearly highlight what I'm saying. And this is why HTML is really important. Whether you're front end developer or you're a back end developer, you need HTML. So HTML is a skeleton, which is like the structure of the web page, and CSS is the skin and clothing. It's like the makeup of the web page, how you place colors and position elements and tags on your web page. JavaScript is the brain and muscles which handles interactivity. You should think of a website like a human body. So first you start with the bones and you build on top of that by adding skins and clothing, and then you add JavaScript to boost interactivity and functionality. So let's round up this episode. We've been able to break down the skills a web developer needs, and HTML is the foundation for any web developer seeking to excel in web development. And HTML structures all the content on the web. It is also very easy to learn, and you basically need it for any website you're going to be building. Every other technology, like CSS, JavaScript, depends on HTML.